All right, I got some more stuff to get off my mind today, off my heart. This is going to be a little bit longer probably, but also is going to be probably going to irritate some people because I've been thinking a lot about relationships and the effect that a wife can have on her husband. And of course, right now it's mostly negative stuff. But the Bible does have some things to say about that, so I wanted to make comments about that. So I'll start out just saying, that having a wife is not a bad thing. Proverbs 18:22 tells us that finding a wife is a good thing, and that means that you obtain favor from the Lord. So having a wife is favorable for you. But you better pay attention, because if you don't, the devil will get into your marriage relationship and will destroy it. But I came across this verse today, Proverbs 12:4, that a virtuous woman is a crown to her husband. So it's a jewel. It's a virtuous woman makes a husband look wonderful, look great. But she that maketh ashamed is rottenness to his bones. And I'm sorry, but you can't tell me that when you've got a wife who's making you ashamed, that it's that rottenness to your bones isn't going to affect you spiritually, emotionally, because it does. And yeah, it can be turned around, and you could say the same thing about a man, but there's a reason. Specifically, there's a reason why it says a woman. I believe God, writing the scripture, knows what he's talking about. So he said what he said. He could have said, he that maketh ashamed is rottenness to her bones. But that's not what it says. And there's this one here. A wise woman builds her house, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands. It's pretty self-explanatory, I would say. If you are one who is destroying your household, if you're one that's plucking it down, would be divorce, would be destroying a family, God calls you a fool. I know there's supposed to be reasons why a woman might do this. She might have her excuses, abuse, or whatever, what she calls abuse. Jesus only gives one reason for divorce. I dare you to find me another one. And that would be fornication. Proverbs 21:9 tells us it's better to dwell in the corner of a housetop than with a brawling and a woman in a white house. So if you're dealing with a woman who's got anger issues, it's not a good thing. And this is not the only verse that says this kind of thing. Proverbs 21:19, better dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman. Better to dwell in the corner of a housetop than with a brawling woman in a white house. That's 3 different places where it talks about a brawling and contentious woman. The continual dropping in a very rainy day and a contentious woman are alike. You just think about that faucet that just drop. It irritates people to no end. You can tell me right now that a woman who's constantly just saying little things isn't going to cause you stress and anger. Here's that adulterous woman. This kind of goes along with the woman that maketh ashamed. And here's the issue with accountability. It could say this about a man just as well, but it doesn't. It says, such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth, and say, I have done no wickedness. There's no accountability there. She does what she wants, and she doesn't take accountability for what she's done. And then there's this last set of verses here. 3 things for the earth is disquieted. The third thing on there is an odious woman when she is married. That's Proverbs 30:23. It is not a positive thing. The virtuous woman, if you read Proverbs 31, the virtuous woman brings a lot for her husband. She does a lot of good things, can cause him to be, can lift him up in a way that nothing else can. But that same woman, when she becomes adulterous, when she becomes odious, or becomes a brawler, or becomes contentious, or a slanderer, as it talks about in 1 Timothy 3, that same woman can destroy not only her husband, but her entire household. Take note, the devil hates marriage. He hates any marriage that's trying to follow God, because he hates all the things of God. So if you think for a second that the devil is going to let your marriage go just because you're a child of God, you better be careful. I'm going to tell you from my own personal experience, the devil will find a way in if you don't put that barrier around your relationship daily. Take care.